welcome back to Harman Art TV. Yeah, so in this video I'd like to talk about why I work in between sculpture and painting. Let's get to it. Yeah, today we're in the studio, so sorry about the mess. I've been busy working away, creating new artworks. I just thought I'd make this video because I'd like to show you why, for me as an artist, I like to switch between working with ceramic sculpture and working with 2D artworks like painting. You know, so my interest in both 2D art and ceramic art started when I was at school, and I was really lucky at the time to have the opportunity to do those kind of creative courses, and I was always really drawn to it. And at the time my tutors said, well, you're really good at ceramics, or we think you have a lot of potential for working with clay, with ceramics. And so from there I kind of dived more deeper into working with clay and exploring this material. But on the other hand, I really enjoyed working with 2D art, and I really enjoyed painting and drawing, and that was still something that I continued to pursue. And even to this day, I still continue to work with clay and drawing and painting. I don't think for me as an artist I can really separate the two. They usually work side by side. I think these materials, working with clay and working with 2D art like painting and drawing, it just gives, it just creates different opportunities to explore these different materials and to see new ideas and new ways of seeing. So for me that is really important, because for me as an artist, I'm always looking to explore my potential as a human being, and I don't like to limit myself, and so I enjoy working between those two mediums, like ceramic sculpture and like the painting in the back. An important value I have as a person, as a human, is that I don't like to limit my potential. We're as humans, we have brain, we can think for ourselves, we have hands that can create, we can learn new skills. And I just feel, a deep-seated value for me is that I don't like to limit myself, and I always like to explore my potential, and I always like to keep learning, because I feel if I stop learning, then I can't grow as a person. And who knows, maybe that also relates to you as well. Yeah, and another reason why I work between ceramic sculpture and 2D artworks, is because I find it all inspires each other. I could be making some ceramic sculpture like these ones, and these ones are about kind of looking into space, and but then this one's more about a kind of closed kind of space. But they're both kind of about curiosity, and they both look like they're kind of shifting through time and space. And then I then take those ideas and then shift it into my 2D works, like this painting behind me. So this painting behind me is also about kind of time and space, and looking at ways to convey this through imagery, like the collage in the background, and then paints, and then the space to let your eye kind of peer into that space, and to get you thinking about those kind of things. So they all kind of relate to each other. So even if I'm working on 2D paintings, that might then get me thinking about some ideas that I can shift through into my sculptures. And so it's all like interchangeable. It's all like one thing leads to the next. And that's another reason why I work between sculpture and 2D artworks and paintings. because they're very, for me, I find they can get me thinking in new ways about the material and about new ideas, different ways of expressing ideas. And yeah, and I like that kind of interchangeability of it. And another reason why I like working between sculpture and painting is that when I go to kind of showing my work in public spaces and like exhibitions or events, I enjoy the process of putting ceramic sculpture next to painting, or painting next to sculpture, and it kind of creates that kind of communication, because I think as a viewer, you then when you enter the space, you kind of then look at the sculpture and then you look at the painting and you think, oh, what's going on here? Like, there's some kind of connection, or it's like they're communicating with each other, or likewise at least from my perspective anyway, or likewise I could be looking at a painting and then I'll look down and see the sculpture and see how that kind of relates to each other. So I find that's also really interesting as well, because when I do those kind of shows, I can then create artworks that relate to each other, and it doesn't matter whether they're sculpture or painting. They take on different kind of characteristics, being 3D and 2D, different ways of seeing. And I think another good reason for me to switch between 2D artworks and 3D artworks is that usually when I create these sculptures, they're very time consuming. There's a lot of kind of process involved, because I have to physically make the pieces, I then have to let them dry, I then have to put them in a kiln, I then have to put the colour on there, and I have to put the glaze on there, so that they take you'd be amazed, like even for this kind of size, it takes me a long time to create, because there's lots of process, lots of layers involved. And I find another good way to keep myself productive and to keep the ideas flowing is to work on 2D artworks like the paintings whilst these pieces are drying, whilst they're in the kiln. They might be in the kiln or they might be drying. And it's just another way of switching in between the two, because it's like, well, these pieces are drying, so what else can I do now? And I go, well, I can work on 2D artworks, so I can switch in between. So that's also quite nice as well. So that's another reason why I work between sculpture and painting. If you are an artist watching this, some people might say, well, you need to stick to one material, one medium. You're either a sculptor or you're either a painter. But as an artist myself, I don't like to limit myself and limit my creativity and limit my choice of materials, because each material has a different way of communicating ideas and a different mode of kind of self-expression. So it's all relevant for me. And if you look throughout history, you have people like Salvador Dali and Picasso, and they both worked between lots of mediums, lots of materials. Dali, for example, was working with jewelry, he was working with painting, he was working with sculpture, he was working with furniture, and probably the list goes on. And likewise Picasso, painting, clay. I don't think he was doing jewelry, but painting, jewelry. I just mentioned that, but they're working with so many different materials. And I think what I've realised from being on this journey is that I create my own reality, and if I can create artworks that are the best of my ability, and if I can create artworks that try and communicate something to the viewer and to establish that connection with the viewer, then I've accomplished, in some way, if I've accomplished my mission, I've accomplished what I set out to do. I've accomplished, you know, creating my own version of reality. And you know, and I think, you know, switching in between these two, in between, you know, sculpture and 2D artworks like paintings is, you know, it's very liberating, and it's very for me inspirational, and it always gets me thinking. And then, you know, for this reason, you'll probably find other artists, you know, switching between sculpture and 2D works or paintings. And you know, I've seen quite a few artists do that, and it's very, very interesting seeing how they work through those different materials. But anyway, yeah, that's a kind of a wrap for, you know, why I like to work between sculpture and painting. And you know, I hope it's been kind of giving you some food for thought. And yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. You know, do you know of any artists who are working, any other artists who are working between sculpture and 2D art? You know, it'd be interesting to see your comments. Feel free to put it in the comment section below. Who knows, maybe you have a favourite artist who's doing that as well. Yeah, so anyway, I'd like to say, you know, thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you very much for the subscribers as well to Harman Art TV for, you know, staying tuned and watching these videos. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, feel free to like it. And also, you're welcome to check out my Patreon page, and you'll have access to exclusive content. And I've also put new membership options on there, so you can you know, you can also sign up for things like merch, so you can also receive things like merchandise on there, and some other special things. So feel free to check that in the description below, and I'll put a link in. And yeah, and feel free to, and if you like this channel, feel free to subscribe to Harman Art TV, and also don't forget to hit the bell notification to be reminded of future videos. So yeah, people always say that, hit the bell notification. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it and got you thinking. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.